Welcome to Art Should Be Illegal, a podcast about art and whether or not it holds any value to society and whether it can really be safely released. My name is Liv. I am the chair of this committee that will make sure that your eyes does not see anything inappropriate to the state. My pronouns are it and she, and I'm the person talking right now.
My name is Elissa, and my pronouns are she and they.
I am Annie. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the last among equals.
Fantastic. And we have the board, the great board of Watching Things have watched the movie Bit, a 2019 vampire movie on the face of it.
Finally, a movie about vampire comedians.
Yeah, finally a movie about vampires that's only about vampires. There are no other themes in this movie.
It's just vampires doing bits for 90 minutes.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Liv, as I understand it, you chose this film and you have a history with it.
I do. I watched this film basically when it came out, which is from, well, I'm going to try not to date myself, but this movie, when this came out, I was still very much an egg. And it touched me, but because it didn't dare say the word transgender, I didn't come out yet, which is a great shame. But I still love it. I still really, really love it because it's just, there's not a lot of things going on, but the things that are in it, they tickle that little part of my brain that's very gay.
Sure, yeah, this movie is very gay, if it's nothing else.
Yes.
Well, I have a special relationship with this movie in that I saw it way before coming out, and it sort of touched me in that weird way where you go, I can feel something is wrong with my body and also the way I'm attracted to women, but there's something missing and I can't quite figure out what it was. And then, of course, it hit me. Oh, right, it's because I'm also a woman. It's just, I need a little store-bought hormones for it.
I have to say that I did not enjoy this movie, but I'm definitely glad that I watched it. I got stuff out of it.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Annie. I have a number of complaints. I think this movie could have used another pass in the script department.
This movie could have used a couple more passes in the script department. Could have
maybe used a full rewrite.
Yeah, I mean, sure. It could also possibly have used, I don't know, some more direction. I'm not quite sure how to put that.
It would have been good, I think, also to actually try to make a movie that's about something.
Yeah, it would have been cool if the antagonist was introduced before the last 10 minutes.
Yes.
I don't know. I think it's okay. Movies can just be about nothing in particular and just sort of go.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, they can be. But I don't think this movie was doing that. I think this movie didn't really know what it was doing.
Yeah. Another couple of things to note. This is the only big thing that the writer and director has ever made. They've also made 2 other movies before this, but nothing this big.
Making a low-budget movie about lesbian teen vampires, it turns out, might not be the best way to get into making big-budget superhero movies.
Do we know how much this movie cost to make?
For a lot of reasons, I get the impression it was not very expensive.
Kinorium says $1.5 million.
I believe that. I believe every bit of that.
That is so cheap. Oh my God.
Yeah, every bit of that 1.5 mil is on display.
Oh, for sure. You can definitely see it.
Yeah, you can also see where they cut corners in a lot of places. Most of this movie might as well be an 80s sci-fi movie. Like an 80s sci-fi B movie for the amount of time that they spend just hanging out in empty warehouses.
It does have that feel. It does. Actually, one of the movies it did remind me of is Bad Taste, which we will get to at some point.
Over my head. I don't know that
Probably
one.
for the best that you don't know that one.
Okay.
You will be introduced to the masterpiece of Peter Jackson.
Yeah, you will eventually learn.
This is like back when he was still good at directing things.
Wait, Peter Jackson?
Like way before
I don't know that I'd say Bad Taste is a good movie. I think the fact that it exists is good. It's beautiful that movie happened.
The Lord of the Rings guy?
Yes, the Lord of the Rings guy was making shitpost movies.
Wait.
Oh my God, Annie.
He made a horror film?
Yeah, and then he made like horror B-movie splat. We will get into that.
Yeah, this is a story for another day.
The fact that this movie is so cheap, and the fact that it's just that it the fact that it's got made is a testament to the will of its creators and the crew who worked this thing, because it's a low amount of people for a a small production, but this is a full feature.
Okay. Out of respect for this board, I will resist the urge to look this up.
I'm sorry?
Out of respect for this board, I will resist the urge to look up Peter Jackson's film career.
Okay.
Noted.
Elissa, do you have any notes before any opening notes before we get into
I'm ready to get into it.
Before we bite into the meaty neck of this movie.
Boo.
And you don't even have the button to hit. So you can't. I am impervious to being censored. I will never be hoisted by my own petard.
Just weaponizing soundboards, and it's going to force us to all get soundboards to compete.
Yeah. We're all going to get soundboarded.
We're all going to have an annoying sound drop arms race.
As I understand it, soundboarding is against the Geneva Convention.
Oh yeah, but the state in its infinite wisdom is of course not a signature to that Western imperialism that is that convention.
Of course.
I think you're bound by it and we aren't, is usually the way that this works.
Okay. So we start this movie looking at a corpse in an empty warehouse. Woo, empty warehouse, number one. Yes. Honestly, it's probably all the same empty warehouse, let's be honest.
Yeah, I strongly suspect that they went, okay, we got a crew member's shitty house, we've got a warehouse that we rented for a month, and we've got the streets and no permits. So let's fucking knock this out as quickly as possible.
Yeah. We see a corpse bleeding out, clearly dead, and we hear lip smacking. I was shocked to see that it actually was lip smacking. Two people are making out. And I decided that my favorite accent is vaguely European.
Yeah. We also have, I believe this movie actually opens with, those horny soap movies about vampires?
Yeah, I almost cringed out of my chair when I heard this.
I have blocked this out. I don't remember that at all.
It's at the very top of the movie, right before seeing the vampire making out. And I don't know, it spoke to me. And I think this could have also been, if we're doctoring this movie a little, I would say turn up the camp. Make it more bits, more campy, but in that way where it takes itself very seriously. It has to be played straight, but be very gay.
I thought it was a little disorienting that it starts out with, here's how this story ended and how my story began. I don't know.
Yeah, that doesn't,
weird.
It's
a weird
that didn't
way
make any
to
sense.
Introduce that this is an event that occurred sometime in the year prior to the events of the movie, but we don't know when. It's some point prior, probably not more than 6 months before the start of the movie.
It's not clear.
Yeah, so this dude and this feller and this lady are getting ready to fucking bone down in a warehouse.
And of course, what's going on is that this lovely lady is gonna turn this man into a vampire.
No, she already has. He's a vampire.
Oh, she already has?
Yeah. He's asking her what the rules are, and we're getting some early movie exposition here. And she's like, oh yeah, sunlight's not really a big deal. And garlic isn't gonna hurt you, and crosses are fine, and etc.
Yeah, and he's
Does
just
he get to fire? I completely blacked out that bit.
You don't think we hear anything about fire at this point?
We find that out later. But that's when the 5-foot lesbian death squad rolls up.
Yes.
Yeah, they're, we love our short queens.
They're so small.
They are.
So it's 4 lesbians or bisexuals, I guess. I don't know.
At least one of them is confirmed as being into men, as spoken by the text, but we never get to see it. Which, sure. Frankly, I think is the correct choice.
Yeah, doesn't really matter. They show up. One of them is named Duke. She is the leader, and she just uses super speed to break the man's tibia. And then in the next shot, his tibia is fine again. I just want to point that out. It's an amazing shot. It's an amazing shot. It's like a broom handle with a shoe on it.
They do this fake whip pan that I don't know. I'm sensitive to these things. It sucked. Is a bad edit.
Also, two things to note. She's wearing some kind of white leather coat and also has braided hair that is almost cornrows, but not quite, which I think was the correct move. Don't make them cornrows.
I have a note here that says, "Hey lady, blush goes on your cheekbones, not on your forehead."
Every fit in this movie is awful. I wasn't going to talk about it.
I don't mind her jacket. She should probably change her clothes every now and then and not wear the same jacket every day. Part of being a jacket lady is owning more than one jacket.
I think you're being very, very rude. You're being very rude to a person that surely that must be their own clothes. I don't believe for a second this was dressed.
Oh no, you're so right.
You're probably right.
Not at 1.5.
Oh no.
At 1.5, you can afford to go hit a thrift store. Like you're not really, it's under like $500,000 where you're really scraping the barrel.
Yeah, but if you go to the thrift store, can you also afford 2 different locations?
In LA? Yeah.
Okay. So she fucking kills him, okay? She bites his neck, drains his blood, and all I can say is, yeah, dude, that's the face I make when a lesbian bites my neck too.
I mean, also, same. I have watched this movie through like the haze of Prague, and please bite my neck, mommy.
She's like 5 feet. She is not mommy.
She can like use a stepladder. I don't care.
Okay.
So yeah, we get an introduction here to the head lady vampire who fucking really hates men. That's the main thing that's getting established in this scene.
Yeah, she is of the correct opinion that men should not be vampires. Oh wait, no, that comes later.
No, yeah, all she says here is
no fucking boys.
Which could mean a couple of things.
And then that is our cut to the opening credits.
Yeah, that was the movie's cold open.
So this movie gets off to a really fast start, which makes like it's deceptive. Like we go straight from this into an exterior shot of what is presumably a high school.
Yeah, we're in Americana.
We see her wearing some graduation gown, and then we're straight into a party. And all this takes 10 seconds. She has graduated and is having a party.
Right. So this is our main character, Laurel. She is textually a trans woman, and 18 years old, and just graduated high school.
Is that actually in the text?
They'll never say trans in this movie. It's not going to come up. Not directly. It is a big part of her character, even though they'll never say what exactly it is they're referring to.
They never say the word trans, but she is textually trans. Yeah. And it's cowardice that they don't say the word transgender.
It is cowardice.
Yeah.
If they had said the word, she is transgender, and that's why all the bad things happen that we will get to, then, I would have been stamp of approval.
I could see, I understand putting it in the background and not having it be central to your character, but it is central to the character. It is an important part of her whole arc that she is trans. And we're going to constantly hear people referring to it in kind of vague terms. And this scene is where we get the first time that happens.
This character is played by a trans actress named Nicole Maines. She does a pretty good job for her first time in a feature. She's also in Supergirl. That's like her main thing, though, from 2015. So she's been acting for a while.
Yeah, she wasn't terrible.
I like her.
Yeah, one thing though, the dialogue in this is stilted as all hell, and it has this brutal. Weird. It's almost endearing to me. It has this weird The Room quality to it.
That's the entire movie.
That is the entire movie.
But in this scene, the first thing that happens is like a drunk guy comes up to her and her gay best friend and is basically like, "You're so brave, trans woman. Go die."
Her gay or egg best friend, it's not easy to tell.
Okay, you're right.
It isn't, but we're introduced to this gay best friend, and why is he in this movie?
To make her feel bad later.
He's here to be kind of creepy and weird and make her feel bad.
Yeah, yeah.
And just a really bad actor. Oh my God, dude. I'm so sorry.
I cannot act.
I'm so sorry if you're hearing this. You're not.
Yeah, it is. It is also it's a very stereotypical party scene because it's the two only queers in the small town America school looking at everyone else and basically saying we're better than these people. That is the straights.
Yeah. But this scene really quickly establishes that they live in Central Oregon, which is one of the worst places on the planet. And that she is going to... Yeah. She's going to go stay with her brother who lives in Los Angeles for the summer, but nobody expects her to come back. Like, she's like, oh no, I'm just going to go there and then come back before I like figure out what I'm going to do after high school. Her friends, her parents, they're all like, you're not coming back.
Yeah. Her parents, by the way, seem amazingly supportive, and also they're a weirdly comforting screen presence. I can't quite place why, but like they just seem like sort of happy to be there.
Yeah.
They're really excited to be in a movie and also to not have to see their child anymore, which I think is the case for a shocking number of parents.
Yeah.
My mom is going to hear me say that and she's going to chastise. She's going to call me and be like, that's not me, just so you know.
Yeah, and then my mom, who also listened to this, can also try and call me. And then, I can just hit her with, because that shit is blocked.
But the actress that plays the mom is in like so much stuff.
She is.
Yeah. She's one of those faces that you recognize. Yeah.
But is she See, that is kind of interesting because I would have thought that they would just use their...
I think most of the budget here went to 2 actors.
Yeah.
Who are in bit roles, which is pretty typical for a movie of this kind of budget.
Yeah.
You bring those people in so you can say, we had some recognizable faces. Please watch our thing and consider distributing us.
Yeah. Well, anyway, they see her off and she starts her long drive down I-5 in a boomer car, which you know because it has a CD stereo.
Listen, that car is now worth more money than when her parents bought it for her.
What does that mean?
The used car market in the US is fucked.
Oh.
That was a joke.
It is.
I didn't know that.
One more thing before we hit LA traffic is that the parents are so nice and they're so happy, and the moment their daughter is inside the car, they go, "We're gonna bang now. This is what's gonna happen." And that's the text of the movie.
Love that for that. Yeah, the dad is like, "Hey, you want to go have sex?" Which not how anyone talks, but I loved it. Yeah,
and then also I'm very it's a sex positive movie because then of course mom then says, "Yes, let's." Enthusiasm for sex. Love it.
Yeah. So she gets to LA. She gets to her brother's apartment, which is massive for an aspiring actor in LA.
Yeah, 2019 was just a different time.
It's got like 2 bedrooms. Holy shit.
Yeah, he lives in a 2-bedroom apartment.
The place probably costs like $4,000 a month.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They'd be living like maybe 6 or 7 aspiring actors in that one space.
Oh, yeah.
Probably stacked on top of each other.
She falls asleep right when she gets there. Her brother then wakes her up after a few hours to say, "Hey, we're going to go out to a club to hear a band play." And she says, to indicate that she doesn't feel well after that really long drive, "I feel like I stepped out of an elephant's mouth."
Is that a thing people say when they're from small town America?
Not as far as I know.
As someone from small town America, fuck no. What the fuck? Absolutely not.
And as someone from the Pacific Northwest, that is not a thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's so much dialogue weirdness in this movie.
Yeah. Now, there was one thing that they did get really right about the West Coast, which she is referring to being trans. She asks her brother, like, "Oh, are people going to be weird about it? Like your friends and such?" And he's like, "People aren't like that here as much." And I'm like, accurate. Real.
Yeah. You're in a better place now. You're in a place where people won't chastise you for being trans, but they will ask you how big it is.
They'll ask you if you've had the surgery yet.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Like, or if you're me, they'll send you as like the second message on the Bumble conversation. "So are you post-op or nah?"
Oh God. We're gonna need a little counter of like days since men have been creepy to either of us, and that will just stay permanently. I can just weld it to the 0.
I mean,
Oh my
yesterday a
I
cashier,
just never go outside.
yesterday a cashier like just used my name to be like, "I'll see more of you, right, Annie?" And I'm like, "No, no, you won't. Die."
I'll see more of you, won't I, Annie? I hate it.
I hate it.
Oh, right. So the brother says, go get ready. And what does she do? She puts on a flannel and a boob top, basically. Something to show off her tits. Like,
Boobs.
yeah. Like a top,
You're not
a top that shows off her boobs.
As is her right.
Yeah. Anyway, they go to this concert. It's in a basement. Looks really shitty, but whatever. It looks like LA.
Yeah, and they get stopped by the guy at the door who looks at her license and is like, "Whoa, what the fuck? An out-of-state license in LA? I've never seen such a thing. I don't even know what I'll do. I think I'm just going to stand here with your license until someone interrupts me."
I'm comrade inciting. No, wait, not inciting incident.
Yeah.
Which of our brave comrades?
Yeah,
is this?
I mean, he kind of is comrade inciting incident because
fantastic.
Like this is how they show off in a subtle way that there are vampires with powers over brains, over human brains.
Yeah, because the head vampire from the beginning of the movie, Duke, walks by and is like, yeah, looks fine to me. Let her in. And he lets her in. So problem solved.
She Jedi mind tricks him.
Yeah.
It's a very rough bit of screenwriting.
So Laurel is there. Do we ever say that her name is Laurel, the main character? Her name is Laurel.
We have not said that. Yeah, she does have a name.
Yeah, her name is Laurel.
Name.
She chose that name. Good for her. If any Laurels are listening, I'm sorry.
You know what? Someone's got to pick names like Laurel. You know,
Yeah.
Otherwise they would just go completely unpicked, and wouldn't that be a shame?
Then
you know what?
Then you'd have Emily number 50.
Yeah, exactly. It's beautiful that this movie managed to get beyond the A section of baby names.
Incredible.
And yeah, we get inside here and we see fucking MC Gainey, our other fucking name actor, just kind of skulking in the corner.
It's better than that. Because she goes up to the bar to get a drink after hers was spilled. And it's not clear where he is. He's just like watching her. But the way that this is communicated is we have a shot of her at the bar and then just a shot of his face with a black background.
Yeah.
Like he's just there.
It's amazing. He exists in a space to deliver a message.
And it should be noted that this party is going on in another warehouse.
It's
almost certainly the same warehouse.
Anyway,
I did like old man. I would say if I were to describe it, I would say old man grabs her at party and says, "Don't go and become cool and lesbian and a vampire."
Okay, but you skipped over something, which is that one of the other vampires, not the head vampire, like chats her up a bit and they flirt, and then she invites Laurel.
She initially
to a party.
shows off her gumption by getting in a dude's face when he bumps her.
Yeah.
And so then the lesbians are like,
she gets discovered.
Let's fucking bring this shit
She
in.
has
and there's this really weird
problems.
conversation. Yeah, she does. She has serious anger problems. A lot of characters in this have weird anger problems. But there's this bizarre conversation that they have at the bar where first the vampire is like chatting her up by talking about this hamburger and shoestring thing she's wearing, but there isn't a shot to show it, and the director is too incompetent to tell her to like turn slightly so the audience can see what she's talking about. So there's just this thing that is being called attention to that doesn't exist in the movie.
I think we saw it earlier. We see her.
Yes, but we don't see it when they're talking about it.
Yeah.
Okay, what is this ever going to come up again? No, it's never going to come up again.
And that's their weird meet cute. And then the vampire girl says K, as in okay, and Laurel is like, is that a thing people say now? And I'm like, yes. Have you ever been to the West Coast?
She's reacting like, is this some kind of LA thing? And it's like, no, people say that literally everywhere.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
And girl,
but people say, why shortening OK to K? Why would that be weird?
But it's not just that. I am from where she is from, and people say K there. I know they do. I've said it.
I refuse to believe there's a place where people don't say it because it's a very natural way to speak.
It's so weird.
It's such a bizarre thing to call attention to. The worst part is I can't even figure out what the dialogue is supposed to be accomplishing. It's not like it's aimed at establishing something. It's just establishing that she's from a hole in the ground.
Yeah, she's from small town America.
She was actually born in a barn.
King. Yeah. Is that something people say here?
What are you talking about? Yes, it is. They say that there too. They say where you're from. You've heard it.
Yeah, have you ever been to a place that isn't small town America? Wow, they have weird phrases. Anyway,
so then MC Gainey like grabs her arm in a really aggressive way and is like, "Don't go with her. Don't go with her.
Yeah, don't become a cool lesbian vampire. Don't do it. Don't become
like,
cool."
Old dude is making a good point, but in the absolute worst possible way. Girl, why the fuck are you getting into a car with strangers your first night in LA? Do you want to die?
Yeah.
Because
they are setting up like a weird twist here. But because like, initially it's like, oh, well, you don't want to become, they're vampires. You don't want to be one of those.
Or die.
And as we find out,
honestly, I mean, either.
What it seems like they're setting up right there is not what they're setting up.
Yeah. So anyway, she just ditches her brother at this party and then goes to a different party at the same warehouse.
They go
not
to
textually.
the molecule house.
Not textually. It's a different warehouse in the film, but it's the same warehouse.
Yeah, it's the warehouse a day or two after filming the previous scene when they have changed up the set decoration.
Yeah, they've made it a drug party now. There's drugs everywhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the first shot of this place is just a dude doing cocaine. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And yeah, the vampires own their own warehouse. They just have a warehouse.
Yeah, and it's like the hot spot. People love hanging out at the vampire warehouse where people die, presumably.
Yes. I have a note in here somewhere about how every one of these characters must just have like a rap sheet a mile long of dropped charges where they get hauled in for another murder. And they go in front of the judge and they control the judge's brain and then the judge lets them off because these people are just constantly murdering people. And as far as I can tell, they don't do anything with the bodies.
Yeah, we never see what happens to the bodies.
I'm just thinking of that scene later where they literally drop a woman's body in the middle of the street.
Yes.
But where we are in the movie. So the vampire chick that is hitting on Laurel is like trying to rizz her up, brings her to the roof of the building to show her an amazing, beautiful vista of a parking lot.
It is, and while they're talking on this roof, they say, "Oh, I was hoping I could see the Hollywood sign from here, but like, not at this budget, you won't."
It actually could be visible from where they are because they're like west of downtown and Hollywood is northwest of downtown. The real problem here is seeing through the haze of pollution.
It's one of those maybe.
The main problem is that they're looking in the wrong direction to see the sign. And presumably some of these people live in LA.
At the same time, we cut back to the head vampire, Duke. She is hustling some dude at billiards. And when she wins, she makes him show her his penis.
Yeah.
This is some feminism.
Yeah.
This is where we are girl powering so hard right now.
Yeah, that's feminism.
Okay, I'm gonna as chair of this board, I'm gonna put on the positivism hat here and say that lesbianism is when you're on the roof and you're kissing and it's beautiful, and heterosexism is of course when you get killed for being a man and it's cool and good actually.
Yeah, so it turns out that she is doing all of this, Duke is doing all of this to lure this guy up, and he is like a murderer. He has killed a woman sometime in his past and gotten away with it, and she is an avenging angel in this. And then she also kills his friend for being there, and she straight up says like his sin is having a bad friend or keeping bad company. Like, fair enough, at least you're acknowledging that that's stupid.
Yeah, you're being kind of a piece of shit.
She also does it later. Later on, we hear the bit where she goes, are everyone you kill, like, are you just avenging angels who only kill bad people? And they're like, 80-20%.
Yeah. Anyway, she kills the friend first, And my note here is, yeah, dude, that's the same face I make when a lesbian bites my neck.
Yeah, same. Oh, there's also a sting to this scene, I remember, and it's very distinct.
Okay.
That's the sound. And I'm not sure why that sound is in there, but that sound is in there.
I was wondering why you had that in the list of drops.
Oh no!
As what was it? Bloodborne sound?
Yeah, it's a very distinct sound from Bloodborne, and it's just in here for some reason.
Yeah,
but no Wilhelm scream. Anyway.
Yeah. So then we cut back to the roof with the vampire and Laurel. Vampire chick is gonna kill Laurel, for fun, for food. She hungry.
Yeah.
And then Duke is like,
kind of dick move.
Yeah, real dick move. And then Duke shows up and is like, nah, I like this one. Just throw her off the roof, and if she lives, she can join us.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, the perfect litmus test. Are you strong enough to be a vampire? Yeet.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing shot here. Like, she chucks her off the roof and straight into a dumpster.
Yeah. She, like, Nines Rodriguez really going to bat for Laurel here.
Oh, one thing, one little script note I have is like, they asked her, oh, you've shoveled a lot of shit in your life. And all I can say is, no, she's like 18, maybe 19. There's a lot of shit in her future to be shoveled.
So she then wakes up the next morning in a dumpster, and she is brought before LaCroix, who tells her to go hang out with Mercurio and blow up a Sabat warehouse in Pasadena.
Oh, thank you, Annie.
Did I get that wrong?
Did you have two sets of notes to this movie? No. She wakes up in the dumpster, goes home to her brother, and just goes to bed immediately. He is pretend worried. Like, he seems like he's worried, but also he plays it like he sort of wishes he had just stayed gone.
Damn. But also, it's really weirdly framed. She's like not centered in the frame, and he's talking from off screen.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope it was deliberate, because
I'm sure that it was deliberate. It was too weird to not be deliberate, but I'm confused what it was trying to convey.
I mean, maybe the director just saw an episode of Mr. Robot and thought, I love this framing. This is amazing.
Sure.
Nothing?
I've never seen Mr. Robot.
I've never seen Mr. Robot.
Oh, God. Well, I mean, it is, of course, censored in our great nation, so there's no reason for anyone to really watch it. Back to the plot.
So next, after dealing with the Santa Monica Sabat, she goes back to downtown LA, and she's supposed to go investigate this ship, the Elizabeth Dane. There's like an antediluvian on the ship.
I think.
Okay, anyway, so she gets back to her brother's place and passes out for like 2 straight days.
Yeah. Being a vampire is like being hungover, except you wake up and you look at your brother and go like, you look more tasty than this bowl of like quinoa and I want to say quinoa and salad.
Yeah, it seemed like that.
Delicious.
And then, yeah, also like when you're really hungover, she, as soon as food touches her mouth, she goes and vomits everything. She vomits way more than she put into her. So.
She's vomiting up straight blood, which, like, I don't know what the implication there is, but it's pretty clearly blood. But it's not what blood would look like if it was in your stomach. It looks like coffee grounds when you've partially digested it.
Yeah. She's also.
I don't think anyone involved with this movie would know anything about.
They should have asked me.
She's also dreaming about small town America and also a scary door, which is kind of foreshadowing for later, but it's some really shit foreshadowing.
We once again get a dream sequence as an act transition, and that's interesting. The act transition, oddly enough, comes a little later than you would expect in terms of the timing, mostly because the pacing of this movie is completely fucked. Like, there's that one little bit at the very beginning where they establish really quickly like what stage of her life she's in, and then it just slows the fuck down. There's so much nothing happening in this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. There is like a little bit of plot right here where the vampire. I mean, the thing is, there's like 5-10 minute gaps in my notes because I timestamped them.
Yeah.
And it's just like nothing happened in between.
Right.
But the next plot point that I have is that the vampires show up and are like, hey, are you going to like hang out with us?
That is also my next plot point.
So Mark answers the door for them. That's her brother.
So hang on. So one note about the door in the dream. There is something interesting about this. This does kind of set something up for later. Because she should have no clue what this door is, right?
Yeah, it sets up the door is scary.
It's like a vault door. It's a scary vault door. And it's really weird. She's seeing these things, but she shouldn't know anything about them, which implies that there is some kind of psychic link with the vampires or something to that effect going on.
Yeah.
There is an interesting implication here that does become relevant later.
But we haven't been introduced to the scary door. So we just go, oh, that's like a big vault door. Yeah. Is that important? Why is this important?
Yeah, and this dream closes out with Duke appearing and scaring her away.
Oh, right, it's a jump scare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why does this movie have a jump scare?
And then she wakes up and they're outside of her place. So it's like, interesting. What was going on there? Okay.
So Mark answers the door with the lesbian death squad outside, and he is like shirtless. And one of the vampires, Frog, is super into him.
Yeah, she is. She is eating him with her eyes.
Yeah, it's Laurel's like, hey, go put on a shirt or put on pants, and she's like, no, he's okay right here.
She's getting ready to devour and murder this man.
If that's my brother, regardless of the vampire thing, I'm like, no, now we really need to leave.
Yeah. Her brother is the greatest brother on earth. He is also in this movie mostly just to be pissed at her, and this movie doesn't know which of these things he's supposed to be doing. He's always angry at her, but he's also incredibly supportive and helpful.
Yeah, it's really weird. There's a big blow up scene later. We'll talk about it at that point.
Yeah.
Hello, dear friends. Sweet friends. Beautiful friends. We here at Art Should Be Illegal would really appreciate it if you could thumb our pod. If you look at the pod right now, you might see that the pod thumb number is tragically unthumbed. And if the pod's unthumbed, then the thumb won't go out to other pods where the pod thumbers can thumb the pod. And we demand, we require, we beg to get our pod thumbed. So please, thumb our pod. Also, like, jingle the bell and subscribe. Whatever the hell other people say. I don't know. I just want my thumb podded. My pod thumbed? Whichever. But they take her, they explain everything going on with the vampire, like, transformation. They say, oh, we have a cure for vampirism. It's in this little bottle. And if you take it before you drink your first human blood, you'll turn back into a human. But if you drink blood, then you're a vampire forever. And then they give her, like, a tied up guy to eat. And apparently this guy is just a real piece of shit.
And during this scene, Duke also explains what all of the rules are. Earlier, we just got no fucking boys. Now we get the actual rules.
We get the actual rules.
Rule number 1. You never glamour another vampire. Okay, you never invade their mind to affect their decisions. Rule number 2. You kill what you eat. Otherwise it turns, and we're not ready for that kind of expansion yet. All potential recruits are decided by me, and me alone, but we all have veto power. Which brings me to our final and most important rule. You never, ever turn a man. It's off limits. Men can't handle power. They have it already, and look at what they've done with it.
Which, I mean, correct.
But this is not a thesis statement. That's very important to remember.
No, that is not the thesis statement of the film. That is Duke's modus operandi, which is different. But Laurel then has like the realest response to that as a trans woman, she looks Duke dead in the eyes and is like, what about me? Which, same.
Right.
I would have the exact same response of like,
right?
I don't know. Like, is this woman a TERF female supremacist? I don't know.
I don't think she is, because if she was a TERF vampire, she wouldn't have turned a transgender person.
Well, yeah, and she also says it right there. She immediately says, didn't even cross my mind. So like, she knows what's up. Even though it's the movie never says it, which is I don't know how this information was communicated to her.
I mean, she's clocky. What do you want? Also, it's kind of implied that doing glamour to her like reveals her gender to them.
Yeah, I've seen into your mind.
Right. Yeah, I think it ties in with some of the other stuff that she is able to just figure that out.
Yeah. But I'm just saying it's super real. If I were Laurel, I would ask the exact same question.
Yeah.
A part of the speech is about how women are downtrodden in the world.
The world's a meat grinder, kid. Especially if you're a woman. I don't think you need a PowerPoint presentation to know that one's true. We're politically, socially, and mythologically fucked. Our roles are secondary. Our bodies suspect, alien, other. We're made to be monstrous, so let's be monsters. Let's be gods.
And all I can say is that is the transgender statement.
Yeah.
Put it on my tombstone.
I kind of am with her on this one. I mean, not the last part, not the let's become gods. That's a little death note for me.
It's like that's a bit questionable.
But everything else of like our bodies are suspect. We're second class citizens. Like, yeah, very true.
Yeah. Then what happens?
So they pull this real piece of work out of the trunk.
Oh right, yeah, we're back in the action where Laurel has to eat a person to become a real vampire, or I guess die. The consequences are unclear.
Yeah. She's about to munch down on this dude, and we are once again treated to this movie's wonderful sound design as her fangs come out, and then she has a change of heart because she doesn't want to eat people and storms out, and the cure gets dropped on the ground and kicked away, and she doesn't go after it or anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's like,
and we still get the unnecessary line about how she's made up her mind
it's like
ostensibly to not be a vampire, but she didn't go after the cure. I don't know.
One of the other vampires said that, and then Duke says she'll come around, give her some time. So anyway, they take the guy that they were going to give to Laurel back inside the warehouse to kill him and eat him when they're all hit by spotlights. And it turns out that this guy was like bait for a bunch of vampire hunters to find them and kill them.
Yeah, my notes here say vampire mousetrap, because our fearless leader Duke is of course caught in a little bit of effects.
It's like a net.
It looks like it's two folding chairs with some spikes on them.
Okay, so this is presumably their warehouse, and these dudes have broken in and set up traps, including this giant, silly-looking, like person-sized bear trap. I'm so confused silly. At this point. I'm so confused.
Don't worry about it. It's very weird. I don't understand it.
And all of this is set up, nowhere. This just comes out of nowhere. We know that MC Gainey has been skulking, but like this shit just pops up.
Yeah. So then Laurel sees the guy that she had been like given to eat running down the street because he booked it, which, same dude. I would have booked it too.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh shit, something went wrong. And so she runs back to the warehouse to help them out. She eats a guy. She eats one of them.
Yeah. She sees that one of her friends has been, her new friend has been combusted. And the other one is stuck in the bear trap. Shit is fucked in there.
She's stuck in the vampire mousetrap.
Yeah.
And MC Gainey, who is sort of acting as a ringleader here, ends up betraying one of his buddies and kills him and reveals that he's working for the master.
Yeah.
And that's when Laurel comes in and munches him. We don't get any further information.
Yeah, so he's a ghoul for the master.
Yeah. He's working for the fucking the dude from Manos.
What?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
It's a bad movie.
Okay. And then they kill all of the humans there. And then we get a little bit of, is this where we get backstory about the master? Is that later?
Yeah, this here we're at 50 minutes and we're getting like we're finally getting into the crux of things, and Duke is giving us the monologue about who the master is.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Yeah, we're having a flashback to the 1970s and seeing where Duke comes from, and it's not exactly the story of a young transgender woman who goes to New York and gets discovered by a person who then turns her into a sex worker or like makes her do sex work. But we're so close.
She's a lesbian, though.
Yeah.
She refers to herself as a dyke.
I mean, I'm a full-blown fucking dyke.
Same.
But my favorite thing about this, I mean, I genuinely love this sequence. The 1970s aesthetics are so my shit. If I were cis, I would say, like, send me back into the 70s, pump that shit into my veins.
Yeah, and it's cool. It has some cool effect. It's cool shot, and also it has Rasputin on the soundtrack, which must have been so expensive.
And so
fucking hate that song so much.
And so
I hate it so much.
The master, the antagonist of this film, ostensibly, is introduced into the movie. Like, he is revealed by, I said ostensibly, he is revealed by somebody dancing out of the way, and he is just there in a cult outfit, posing aggressively in a party.
He's posing and staring.
Yeah, he looks like he is going to whisk everyone away to a compound somewhere.
Yeah, and Duke is just wearing a shirt that says sex on it.
Yeah, as you do.
As you do. Okay, so in the course of this flashback, we find out that Duke was like one of his brides, like psychically forced to obey his will. And then at some point, she broke free and set fire to him, but she couldn't kill him. His heart wouldn't burn, which is what you have to do to kill one of the vampires.
Around this time, we should also mention that this guy is Dracula, right? And he's just like, I don't know, he's just like a dude.
His name is Vlad.
Yeah, he's
just kind of like a schlubby guy.
He's so schlubby.
And he's just having a good time. That's what he spends like eternity on. He's just going, what do I do? I don't know, drugs?
And he does kill a bunch of people.
He kills many
And he
people.
sexually enslaves a bunch of people. Like, not a good guy.
Yeah. So anyway, Duke has his heart, which cannot be killed, stored in a box, and she's eating it little bits at a time. And this is where we find the door from the dream sequence earlier.
Finally, the door.
The door. The door.
The door.
So yeah, she eats his little pieces of his heart because it gives her his power, but she feels his presence in her head when she does this, and she doesn't want to get taken over by him or something. But another important thing from this flashback is that we also find out that like his main wife, his first wife, is the woman from the beginning of the movie that churned a guy and then got put in a hole.
Yeah.
So she's like around.
Yeah, she's
in the
in
hole.
a hole for a year. There's also a bit in here. One other note that I have that I forgot is there's during that sequence there's a bit where somebody comes up and pours a beer on Duke for being gay and doing gay shit, and she's instantly dry in the next shot. Great work, filmmakers. Way to spend fucking a little bit of money on having somebody stand there and yell whenever there's a continuity problem. But so Duke gives her little speech here about how she met one dude that really sucked, and so literally all men would do exactly the same thing, and this is her worldview.
Yeah. This movie takes the firm and courageous stance that misandry is bad. That's the thesis statement.
Yes, it's very shallow. Just women who met one bad dude. That is what this movie thinks.
Yeah. So we're going to talk a lot about that closer to the end of this episode.
They spent all this time on her backstory. We just got like a 10-minute backstory sequence, and we haven't established any actual important information about the character. What we established is this other character that is new to us now, and is supposedly the main enemy.
He's still not in the movie, though.
He's still not in the movie. He's we've now introduced him and said he will be in this movie later on. That's what we've done.
So this
coming soon, villain.
What even happens next? My next note is this is a deeply toxic relationship, but I don't know which relationship I'm talking about.
The next thing that happens here is Duke, for some reason, shows Laurel that they can fly.
Oh, that's the toxic relationship.
And I don't know quite what this is doing narratively.
Yeah, that doesn't come back.
It does come back, sort of. It comes back in a very pointless way.
That's the toxic relationship I was talking about. Duke is just like love bombing Laurel. It's really gross to see. But within the text of the movie, Duke is not a good person. She's not supposed to be.
Yeah, no, she sucks.
Yeah.
And she only has one jacket. I can't get over this. This entire movie, she's been wearing one jacket. Change your fucking clothes, woman.
It's the antithesis to Atomic Blonde.
You own a warehouse.
Yes.
You're a woman of land. You're a fucking murderous party vampire. Take some money out of that, dude you're killing's pants and go to the store and fucking buy a second jacket. That's all I ask. People will still recognize you if you're wearing a different jacket. It's fine.
Oh my God. So Andy is Laurel's gay friend from the beginning of the movie. He's trying to get in contact with her. He's like, oh, I bought a ticket to come down to LA to see you. And she's like, oh, don't.
Yeah. And this is very real, but for like an unrelated reason to this, just sort of mirrors life, but a little crooked. It's that people will enter a polycule and just disappear out of your life.
There's a weird scene in between here where it's very short and not much is done. And it could be completely cut without hurting the movie in any way, where they're talking about how vampires don't age. And it's so weird that this is the specific thing that this movie has honed in on, that like all of the other details of all the action, they don't care about, but they're like, wow, it's going to be awkward in a couple of years when I don't age, huh? And they're like, yeah. that's a scene. I don't blame you for not having it in your notes because it's not a good scene.
Yeah, but I do remember it. I just also, now that I'm thinking about it doesn't. They don't go into, oh yeah, you're gonna be super strong and move with super speed and can do mind control. But that's just in here,
right? But yeah. So while she's having this, she has these back-to-back phone calls with her mom and then a fucking egg friend. There's a redeeming feature to this. She's like lying on the bed upside down, right? On the phone. Mm-hmm. And she flips up and the camera actually does a really nice move.
Oh yeah.
So there's one nice camera move in this movie.
I remember that.
And I just thought everyone should know about that.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, it's good.
But she's on the phone here with the egg friend and he says,
I am going to come visit you next week. Already bought my ticket.
Yeah, he just drops on her that he has decided to come and visit her. He has already bought a ticket, and he just expects her to clear up her schedule to hang out with him.
Yeah.
Which is super fucked up. That is a super fucked up and creepy and fucking weird thing to do, and it's not okay. You don't just tell somebody, hey, I bought a fucking ticket, I'm going to visit you next week. What the fuck?
Yeah. Like, I'm going to be in town next week. Let's hang out. That's not what he said, though.
And then when she's like, oh, this isn't a great time for me, he's like, what the fuck? How could you do this to me? Why? You're a monster. This was our special visit that we planned together.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been hard for the movie. Like, you can go back earlier into the script and be like, oh, they planned this before she became a vampire. And now she's going back on it.
Yeah.
You can do that, screenwriter.
This was written and directed by a cis man who did not realize that this kind of behavior might be considered problematic.
Or perhaps off-putting. Now that you do mention
Yeah.
it, there was 2 previous scenes that could have contained this information, but then chose not to.
Yeah. Now there is one thing that is Laura's fault that's been going on is she's just like dropped off the face of the earth to everyone back home.
Yeah. We see her just like refusing to answer the phone or anything.
Yeah, that's really shitty. Don't do that.
I am so guilty of having done that.
Yeah, and the movie gets
repeatedly
these things confused. Like her not wanting this unprompted visit, it lumps in the same way as like refusing to tell people that you're okay and just vanishing.
Yeah. And we do kind of get the sense that Laurel has done this kind of thing before.
Yeah. It comes up a few times in the dialogue throughout the movie that like she has like little mental health moments where she is not in very good shape. And so,
shocking.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Shocking that a trans woman
amazing.
would do poorly sometimes.
Yes.
No, that does
crazy
that doesn't
to imagine a trans woman having brain worms.
Of course, that doesn't excuse lashing out at other people, but you get me.
Right. So we get a second dream sequence here, and that's going to transition us into the third act.
Wow, I missed a lot, didn't I?
Yeah. So we have a second dream sequence here, and what we see is Duke is eating part of the heart, and we get a bunch of these vampire images. We get like we got a painting of the master, and we've got all of this stuff going on, and there's a jump scare at the end of this of Duke going boo, and we cut, and it's the fucking guy that Laurel was supposed to be eating earlier, and he is having the dream. And so this is Duke beaming this dream into his fucking mind.
Yeah, why?
He does this to telegraph to him that she's about to kill him.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Why would she do that?
Just kind of rubbing it in.
Why would she do that?
I don't know. She just really hates dudes, and she hates this dude in particular, I guess, because he was annoying online.
Yeah, that's his crime, is he was annoying online.
Yes. So yeah, this is like the shortest sequence to deal with the bad guys ever, and it really feels like they just went, "Oh yeah, we got to get rid of these guys, don't we? We had vampire hunters in this fucking movie. Oh shit."
Yeah. So we get a short scene of somebody rocking up in a car with like a bunch of grenades in their glove box. And then we cut into the interior of this like safe house of vampire hunters. And the guy from earlier is like, they're going to kill us. They're going to kill us all. And then one guy's like, stay frosty, boys. And I'm
yeah, he's like, we're going to fight back. And then the place immediately explodes into flames. And we cut outside, and the gals are there, and they're just like,
why do they always think we don't have weapons?
Because where the fuck did you get, like, grenades?
Yeah.
Who gave you grenades? I can see why they wouldn't expect you to have explosives, because where the fuck did you get explosives? What? Yeah, so we went into Mark's place, and he's got his buddies there. And it's just this really short scene that isn't really relevant. It doesn't communicate much except for 2 things. One, Mark now really wants to fuck Frog, and he is trying to get Laurel to stay and hang out with him and his buds and bring her friends over instead of leaving. And it communicates another thing, which is that these dudes frag. These dudes rock.
Oh yeah, we're Call of Duty is somehow still relevant at this point in time, which is questionable.
It's 2019. Warzone was like big at that point. So like, yeah.
Call of Duty?
That's him asking his friend to play Call of Duty with him.
Yes.
And it's just such a fucking dude's rock moment.
It's an incredible moment.
It is. They're like, we're chill, we're normal people, and we just want to fuck vampires and play Call of Duty.
Just regular dudes.
Yeah. Back in high school, I had friends that would be like, Call of Duty, and I was like, fuck no, I fucking hate Call of Duty. What are you talking about?
I barely don't want to shoot up an airport with you.
Remember, no vampire.
Moving forward, okay.
Vampire is a language. In this world, vampire is a language, and the vampires are doing a false flag attack on an airport. I don't know. That's the extent of where So now they have to go to Chinatown to meet up with the leader of the Kuigen.
Okay, so we cut a scene to show that she's now moving in with the vampires, and they have thrown a dirty old mattress on the floor, and that's where she lives now.
Yeah, it's like, do you want bed bugs? Here you go. You live with us now.
It's like there's like wood exposed on the thing. Like it looks like they found it in a trash can.
Yeah, and Laurel is so real for this. She's like, what, no coffin? And Duke is like, why would you want to sleep in a coffin? Laurel's like, it's because it's sick.
She is right.
Yeah.
And Laurel's so real for that. I agree with her. If I were a vampire, I would sleep in a coffin just for the bit.
I don't know. I think if I was a vampire, I would sleep in a very, very large bed with all of my polycule vampires.
No, see, you have a coffin next to your very, very large bed. So when you want to be alone, you sleep in the coffin. It's like when you're in a toxic lesbian kink relationship and you really want your partner to make you sleep in a cabinet. I'm sorry.
Wait, you keep referencing Treyarch's amazing game, and then you don't want to talk about the Duke of Burgundy?
Listen,
the movie that influences everything.
Yes, every single movie ever made since the Duke of Burgundy came out has been referencing the Duke of Burgundy, and we're all cowards for not talking about it more.
No one has ever seen the Duke of Burgundy. They don't know what you're talking about.
I saw the Duke of Burgundy. It was a good movie. Anyway, moving on. We get to this weird montage where all of the vampires are just sucking and fucking. You like my pun? You like it?
Yeah,
Yes.
Amazing pun. And we're treated to some odd dude who's talking about feminism.
Oh my god! Okay, tell me you have this drop.
Yes, I do have this drop, and it's also it is worth mentioning in this scene when he's talking about feminism. He is all of the vampires are staring at him like they want to eat him, which I mean, I guess they are.
No, they're so real for that. They're so fucking real.
Let's hear it.
I just think that by saying I'm a feminist implies that I'm already there, that I have the answers, and I've done all the work.
Yeah, fucking end this man. 1,000 years in the pit, kill him, drain his blood, exsanguination. Hate it.
Yeah, I'm sure we've all met this man before, like this kind of person.
Yeah, there's just like this whole montage here of them just like killing dudes that kind of suck.
Yeah, no, but they're so real for this one. This is the only one where it's like, no, do it.
They go to lengths to make sure that you know exactly how much this guy sucks ass.
Yeah,
he gets so much screen time considering that he's just like in a montage.
Yeah,
right?
It's a lot of screen time for this dude in particular. Just fucking blows.
It feels like the filmmakers like had an axe to grind with this guy specifically. This is a certain real
this type of guy.
Yeah, mansplaining feminism to women, just fucking die, please.
Yeah, and I mean, of course it is the official position of this podcast, and of course the state that this kind of person is illegal to be. And if you are this kind of person, please report to your nearest detention facilities. You can be euthanized. At this center, you will also meet people who talk to women in public without any kind of pretense.
There's also another side to this scene that's kind of in that this dude was written and directed by a dude.
Yeah,
Or layers.
I do not like that this movie was written and directed by a man. For a lot of reasons.
It's some reasons that are going to become apparent in the next few scenes.
Indeed.
So this is when Laurel finally gets so desperate. She's starving to death because she refuses to try to consume human. And so she sees some chick out on the street, just like sitting on the curb, waiting to oob, and decides to try to murder her.
I'm sorry, waiting to oob?
Yes, when it's Uber, it is how you
the transitive verb for taking and
Oh my god.
When you use Uber, you are Ubing.
Yeah. What do you call it when you're lifting?
Well, you call it lifting, of course.
Yeah.
Do you even lift?
Oh, never.
Okay. So it's not quite that she like decides to eat this girl. It's that this girl is like drunk and having a bad night, and is waiting for her Uber to go home, and Laurel's like trying to help her out a little bit, and then like the hunger overtakes her.
Yeah.
And then she's about to eat her when the drunk girl, like, notices something that's off and screams and runs away. And then Duke just swoops in, kills her.
Literally. She flies
in, lifts her off the ground, and then dumps her body in the street. Like, okay.
Yeah, and once again, we just have a dead body, and at least the flying thing came back. That's the last you see somebody flying in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, flying might cost money.
And then Duke chastises Laurel for, like, letting herself get to this point of desperation where she does irresponsible things. Like, I don't understand how what Laurel was going to do was any more irresponsible than what Duke just did.
Right. Just killing some random innocent woman and just leaving her body in the street.
Yeah. I mean, if you had just seen her put the body in, I don't know, a big freezer or a trash compactor, anything to indicate, yeah, I have dealt with this problem that you are incapable of handling right now, that would have been fine. But no, we just see, nope, you're irresponsible. I'm flying in the street. There are phone cameras everywhere.
All it would have taken was for the scene to end with Duke going back over to the body, and then you can surmise from there that she, like, took it somewhere.
Yeah.
But no, they don't do that.
They don't do that.
No, they never even think remotely about what happens to the bodies, which is part of the reason it's so weird that, like, they focus on shit like vampires not aging, because, like, come on, there's so many other details you're just glossing over.
Yeah, and vampires aging also, it doesn't come up. It's not relevant to the sex of the movie.
Nothing to do with the movie.
This whole movie takes place over the course of, like, 2 weeks.
Right.
At the most.
So we move forward into this scene where Laurel is, like, they're having another party, and she's sulking in the corner next to a neon sign that says hot.
No, but it's a party at the warehouse where 2 guys were murdered like a week ago.
Yes.
Why are people coming here?
I mean,
I really don't know. I assume the cops show up and then they're just like, no, nobody was murdered here. And then the cops go, oh, and then just leave? I don't know.
I mean, if I'm being super duper generous, I would say that cops show up, they get glamored and just go, yeah, there was nothing. There's some dyke bitches.
Yes, I mean, in that, like, they probably get people to show up by fucking brain zapping them and zombifying them, making them just come here against their will. You'll be forced to party.
Alternatively, people will go, oh yeah, that's that place where rapists get murdered. Let's go party there. It's actually safe.
Okay,
Yes.
The thing is, if they advertised it as, like, a safe space for women to not be murdered or hurt or whatever, that would make a lot of sense. And honestly, lesbians should be all about that. A lesbian vampire should be like, yeah, men won't hurt you here, and advertise that.
Yeah, but that's not in the movie. That is in a better movie that doesn't exist yet.
It's because this movie was written by a man.
It would be in a much more interesting movie that actually bothers to, like, engage with its themes, and that would be a problem. It would require thinking about any of these concepts.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch that movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she gets a text saying there's been an emergency. She's got to go hang with her brother again.
Yeah,
we got to go back to the apartment, one of the 5 locations, I want to say.
4.
Are there even 4? With warehouse, street, apartment. Am I missing one?
The house party at the beginning of the film.
Oh, shit. You're right.
No, yeah. Interior shot of some hallway where her parents are talking.
I assume that's in the same house where the house party was shot.
Oh,
yeah, probably.
Very likely.
So yeah, she shows up at her brother's place and they have this argument.
I have a lot to say about this conversation, okay? So the general gist of it is that Mark is pissed at Laurel for essentially running off, like, just coming down to LA to ostensibly hang out with her brother, and then just sort of doing her own thing, being really selfish and not engaging with her brother, her friends, his friends, whatever. And the issue with that, from Mark's perspective, is like Laurel has a history of doing this, and he wants to be a good brother. He is, by all accounts, always been a good and supportive brother to her, but it doesn't change the fact that everything in his life ends up revolving around her. And the reason that I am 100% on Mark's side for this fight is I have been in that situation, not with a sibling, but with a friend. And you want to be a good person. You try so fucking hard to be supportive, but it's impossible sometimes. And you just reach a breaking point, and it's like, you feel like such a villain, but you have to take care of yourself.
Yeah.
It's a weird situation. It's sloppy screenwriting. They put themselves in a corner here where they've got to deal with getting her there in the beginning of this, but also having this scene, which those things don't really work together. And it is a fundamental problem of how it was outlined when they were writing it. Like, he invites her to come live with him, but he moved here to get away from her because he is not able to put up with her constant bullshit.
Are we experiencing a movie that suffers from ludonarrative dissonance?
I think this is Dudo narrative dissonance.
Dudo narrative dissonance. Oh my god.
Oh.
So yeah,
sorry.
don't mistake me. I am not forgiving this clear and massive plot hole. I am just saying, I am heading it off at the pass. That I am actually 100% on the man's side in this scene.
Same.
He is the best character in this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, having been him quite literally sometimes, I emphasize with him, fucking go to hell, vampire little sister.
Now, there is one thing that I actually really, really enjoy, which is in this fight, Laurel accuses her brother of transphobia. And he's like, how fucking dare you? I have literally been on your side since the moment you came out to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, get her ass. Get her fucking... That's not cool.
Yeah.
And we also get the information here that her fucking egg friend tried to off himself because he couldn't visit her after she didn't want to be visited.
Yeah, that character is not well utilized in this film.
He really is not.
He's just comrade plot device of you should feel bad right now, and then I don't feel bad because I didn't think about him since he left the screen.
Comrade feel bad.
Also, every time he's on screen, I'm made to feel very uncomfortable because he's like such a bad actor that he just comes across like a creepy guy.
Yes, he's so creepy.
Before you, when you look at him and go, oh, he is very, very, very creepy, and then you learn he's a homosexual, but he's still a cis man, so like it tracks. Again, I have met this person. I have met these men several times, and it sucks.
Yeah, so he attempts suicide by eating an entire bottle of aspirin, which, folks, that is not a good way to go. Don't do it.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. What you want to do is...
No, stop! Hun, that's not going to kill you. That's just going to give you kidney failure for the rest of your miserable life. Like, don't do that.
Wait, how long are their miserable lives?
It depends on how long they stay on dialysis.
Okay, so like, it's... Okay.
Just don't do it.
Yeah, moving. Please move us on.
She gets so steamed in this conversation, she just decides that she's going to fight her brother, and this is where she finally eats.
Yeah, fucking finally.
Sorry, there was one other part of this conversation that I actually really liked and really resonated with me. He says to her, how long are you going to be a teenager? And she says, I never got to be one. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
This is a movie about being transgender.
No, it's not. Don't you dare.
It's not is the thing.
Like, this is a character that is transgender in a movie about being a misandrist.
Misandry isn't real.
I know. That's why I have a lot to say about it.
As long as the patriarchy exists as a power structure, it is not literally possible to be misandrist.
That's very true. But this movie sure thinks it is.
Yeah, this movie has had it up to here.
But anyway, I just really like that line because ow, right in the middle of my being.
Yeah, right in the feels.
Yeah, so she whisks him off to the warehouse so where we can have another warehouse scene.
Gotta get back to that warehouse.
And now we get the big reveal as she's trying to get the cure from Duke that there was no cure. It was just made up. If she took it, they were just going to kill her. That was always the plan.
I actually do really like that. It's like, yeah, we were just going to kill you. Like, oh,
yeah.
Shit.
That is, it's a nice reveal. I liked it.
Fun. It's fun, yeah. And also the cure was Everclear, which, okay.
Yes.
Cool. Can I have the cure, please?
Specifically, it's an airplane bottle of Everclear. And if you ever go on an airline where they serve you Everclear, you know you're in for an extremely good time.
This is Spirit Airlines, baby. Fly Spirit. Fly sloshed. Listen, as they say, when you fly Air Xanax, free is first class.
Yeah.
So they have a big confrontation here, and the sexy vampire lady crew is ready to go ahead and kill the brother. So Laurel executes her master plan, which is to slit her own throat over the grate that covers up where the chick from the very beginning is being imprisoned for turning a dude into a vampire.
Yeah, for crimes against vampire kind. I will give this movie one big, huge props, and that is there is setups, and those setups are paid off in full. Love to see it.
What about the flying?
Don't worry about it. Okay, some of the setups are paid off.
Well, okay. So this isn't totally set up though, because there's some weirdness here. There's some questions presented. So she is immediately given vampire powers and she's able to escape from her hole, right? But, okay, so she's locked up down there. She's been down there for less than a year, we know, because at the beginning they said that she was going to be in the hole for a year.
Yeah.
So some blood comes down the grate, and all she needs to be able to, like, jump up out of this hole of unknown depth is some blood. She now has super strength, super speed, all this stuff, and she can break out. She couldn't do this before. So blood also gives vampires superpowers. This was not established before now.
It's not established before, but it is established in this scene later, which is like if you're just a heart, which you can survive as a vampire, and you get blood on you, your body reconstitutes, which is what I imagine was down there.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, because they do establish that vampires are weak to fire, but the only way to kill them is to burn the heart specifically. And apparently the hearts are kind of hard to burn.
I actually really like this as a piece of like novel lore. If it had been set up a little bit better, it would have, been better. But I don't know. I think it's fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a different version of this where you establish that like vampires get weaker or that you can reconstitute someone with just a heart if you have blood that you can put on it. And also that they ripped the woman's heart out and threw the heart in the hole.
Yeah, that would have been very nice to have established.
It wouldn't have been that hard to establish. All you would need, like, we already have the scene where all of the vampire hunters attack them. You have one of them, like, get their heart torn out somehow by them. And then you establish that, like, one of the vampires slits their wrist and gets blood on the heart, and they, like, suddenly reappear.
We had a scene earlier where there was a chance.
That wouldn't have been hard. And then you can have Laurel look down the hole and see a heart there and be like, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and that would be a more compelling way to do it.
Yeah, and you do it before she's like set up any of the vampire stuff. So it's just like, there's a heart down there. And we as the audience don't yet know all of that. I don't know. It could have been good.
But we don't get that.
Yeah. There's another weird part to this, that it's vampire blood specifically that she puts on there. So ostensibly there's no distinction between vampire blood and human blood. They could just sit around, sucking each other all day.
I mean, they're lesbians. What do you think they do?
Actually, I think you'll find there.
I mean, I'm a full-blown fucking dyke.
I'm gonna need to shorten that one, but yes.
Well, Frog's not. Frog is bi, straight, unclear.
Yeah,
it's not really commented upon.
Okay. So then, vampire lady with a vague European accent breaks out of the hole. Is way stronger than all of the other vampires and beats their asses, and then goes to the vault and opens it to free the master.
Yeah.
I don't know why she wants to free the master. Seems like a really bad idea.
This is completely unmotivated on her part. Like, there's no reason why she would go and free him now. She was free for some number of years and operating with them, and there were no issues.
Yeah, like, is she mad that the guy she really liked at the beginning of the movie was killed? I don't know.
I mean, that might have been it. It's not really explained.
I guess she decided that Dracula is superior to Duke. Like, it was better dealing with him than dealing with her. I don't know.
This wouldn't have been hard to set up. Once again, you could have had some kind of tense conversation in this scene where she's like, "You're no better than he is." At least he like let me have what I wanted, and then she does this.
Yeah, instead it's just completely unmotivated. Like, the best way to do it would have been to set it up earlier, but it wasn't set up earlier because this movie is not too concerned about how it progresses.
Yeah. Anyway, so she breaks into the vault, gets the heart of the master, gets her blood on it, and then I think he kills her right there.
Yeah, he just immediately kills her ass.
Yeah, it's super weird. Anyway, he's like now hanging out in the warehouse with all the vampires and being like, "How dare you judge me for what I've done?" And honestly, I can't disagree with that. They're all just as bad as he is.
Absolutely. Earlier, we've established that men are super duper corruptible to power, but maybe apparently women also are corruptible to power.
Wow, you think so?
Yeah, because we get the reveal here that all this time, what Duke was doing was using little bits of Dracula's heart in order to gain the power to influence the minds of the other vampires.
Yeah.
She broke rule 1.
And so this does tie into stuff from earlier. This ties into the dream transitions, where those were Duke, for some reason, fucking beaming thoughts into people's dreams, but there's no apparent purpose for it. But yeah, or maybe that's some knock-on effect of her controlling people's minds. I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah.
It is unclear.
The big reveal here is that all the things that Duke was doing were things that Dracula was doing previously, and that she said that any man would do, and that was why there couldn't be men.
Yeah, so actually I think what the thesis of the film is that men and gay women are evil. So only straight women should be allowed to have power.
Anyone attracted to women is evil.
Yeah, if you're attracted to women, you're a bad person. Live, gulag.
Yeah, and I mean, this also comes in earlier from the movie where she says, the world treats us as monsters, so let's fucking be monsters. And I still agree with this sentiment and this statement.
I also agree with it, but
it's some real the child that isn't embraced by its village will burn it down to feel something. I don't remember the proverb in its entirety.
I have never heard this proverb. That sounds fascinating. Is
Yeah.
this like a European thing?
I don't know the source of it. So
Wow.
I should not be guessing.
Okay. Anyway, I mean, the real issue is that Duke has no theory. She decides that she has been ostracized by society as a woman and as a gay woman. And so she ends up lashing out, like in that scene where she says that she's not an avenging angel. She kills like 80-20 bad people. Sometimes she just kills innocent people, like that woman in the middle of the street. And if she had actually said, like, I'm going to be a monster, but I'm going to be our monster, I'm going to terrorize the terrorists, that would have been a more coherent ideology, but Duke does not have a coherent ideology.
She does not.
But also, Dracula is like the least intimidating man of all time in this scene.
Yes.
He's got a terrible haircut, terrible fit. What the fuck is going on here?
He's pretty great. I mean, he does look like the kind of person where you just go, that's your enemy? That's the big bad dude you've been warning us about this whole time? This guy?
I'm just gonna be that gal here for a second and point out that juicing these vampires back into existence with blood reconstitutes their clothes.
Oh, fuck. I didn't even think about that. You're so right. Why are they all clothed? They should be nude. Give me my naked
Should be some
vampire.
naked ass vampires running around in here. I feel
that would have been great.
I feel robbed.
Give this movie, this movie is NC-17. Let's go.
Yeah.
It would have been a better movie.
So Laurel like runs away for a second and then like thinks better of it and runs back, which that actually matters that she left for a minute, I guess.
It does?
It does. But she comes back, and Dracula. Oh wait, I totally skipped the part where Dracula kicks all their asses.
Yes, and he's starting to burn Duke's heart.
Yeah, He doesn't, like, he threatens to fuck her, and then doesn't, which, thank fucking Christ, I would not have been comfortable seeing that.
Yeah, no, that would have been awful.
But anyway, so they're all at his mercy. And then Laurel comes back in and he looks at her and he's like, what is this? A tranny?
I suppose it is the new millennium.
Yeah. Ooh, intriguing.
1,000 years gulag.
Yeah, it turns out with that line, it is established that he is our transphobe for the movie.
Yeah. Fucking 1,000 years gulag for that. Get out of here.
But that doesn't make any sense because he was in New York in the 70s, which was the place filled with transsexuals.
Yeah. He met Duke at a party that I'm sure had like at least 3 transsexuals at it. And yes, they would have been called transsexuals at the time. Don't worry about it.
Oh, I mean, I was going to go with, I call myself a transsexual.
Yeah, I was going to say, use whatever term you want if you're trans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just whatever you do, don't say...
Transvestite?
I have met someone that calls themselves a transvestite, and that I'm not going to get into it, but yes, I have.
That one seems problematic. Yeah.
No, I don't know. I think it goes hard. Like, it's if you want to call yourself a transvestite, fucking go off, queen.
I do think that
don't call me that.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, like back in the 70s, especially in New York, the community was the transsexual community. So.
Yeah, well, this is the kind of movie where it's like, oh, well, none of this shit existed before I became aware of it. So, that's what's going on here. So, Laurel, it turns out, was taking the cure.
Yeah, Laurel was getting cured. So she like holds up a lighter in front of him, and he's like, "That's not gonna do anything to me."
Yeah, like that's cute. And then it's, oh shit, it's Everclear.
Yeah.
It's Chekhov's Everclear.
So she had a bunch of Everclear in her mouth because she hadn't talked in this scene since coming back from outside where she got the bottle. And she just spits burning Everclear all over him. And then we see a stuntman just running around with fire all over him, and which is like, it's great enrichment for the stuntmen. Let them go do it. It's great.
I mean, the stuntmen, they do love being on fire.
Yeah.
And also, I respect a movie that is this cheap going, we're going to set someone on fire.
Listen.
I respect it way more than Atomic Blonde, which couldn't even hit a stuntman with a car. Sorry.
If you spend more than half an hour in a room with a stuntman, they will offer to set you on fire. I've done it.
Or themselves.
I've been set on fire.
Yeah.
Wait, really? I want to be set on fire?
It was sweet. I was on fire for like 10 seconds.
It's like when I was hanging out with a laryngologist and he's like, hey, do you want me to like scope your trachea? And I'm like, yeah, go for it. And he just sticks it up my nose.
Wow.
That sounds cool.
It was so uncomfy. I don't recommend it.
Okay.
I don't know. I could see myself enjoying it because I am a little goblin.
You do love to be penetrated.
Absolutely. All of my holes need penetration, except possibly my urethra.
Yeah.
I have tried that with a catheter, and I cannot recommend.
Yeah, let's fuck the nussy. The nose pussy.
Although, on the other hand, I do recommend doing it once just to feel what it's like, and then you can like comfortably say, I don't like it, or sound me more, mommy.
Liv, I've had a catheter put in. I think most people have.
Yeah. I have not.
Oh, okay. Well,
you are in for a weird treat.
Is it a treat?
Either way, the movie is almost over. We're so close. And with all of the authoritarian vampires gone, the lesbians get to engage in some lesbian communism, which we love to see. They all get to eat of the heart.
Yeah, so Duke's heart gets thrown in a hole and her remaining body goes after it. And she is thrown in the hole for being a piece of shit.
Yeah. And then we do get the thesis statement of the film, which is from Laurel to her brother. Her brother is like, I don't want to be a vampire. What if Duke's right and I'm a man with a vampire power? I become a piece of shit. And she's like, just because you're a dude doesn't give you an excuse to become a shithead. And
also like you're an actor. It's you're on thin ice already.
Oh yeah. At least he's not a comedian.
Oh
right?
yeah. I mean,
Disgusting.
if he was a comedian, he would have been set on fire.
Yeah, never date a comedian.
Never date a comedian. and that's the movie. What do we all think?
This movie has very confused themes. It wants to say something about women having power being just as likely to be evil as men having power, which I have 2 major thoughts about that. One, women don't have power, so what the fuck are you talking about? And 2, yeah, absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's like a really old theme. You don't need to make a movie about it and say it to women. That comes off as really misogynistic. If you're like, it's like saying, if black people had all the power, they would kill all the white people. Wait a minute, Black Panther did that.
Are we going into another bleeping session?
No? Why? The movie Black Panther, not the Black Panthers.
Oh, I had completely forgotten that movie was a thing.
This movie is the feminist Black Panther?
Oh, that's fucked up.
Okay, Elissa, do you have any thoughts?
I have one more thought about this movie. There's a scene at the very end where we see the new arrangement, and they're all eating a little piece of the heart, and the fan behind them is rattling. I just want to say that I really hate that. Anyway, my summary of the movie is, the problem with this movie is in the outlining stage of when they're writing it. This has fundamental narrative issues that cause it to get these confused themes and a lack of development, both in plot terms and character terms. And consequently, things are happening arbitrarily. Characters do things because they need to do them to move things forward, not because that's something the character would do. And I'm a big person on like the actions of the character are what define the character, not endless monologuing. But this movie fails by either standard.
Okay. What if I told you that this movie's pre-production, filming, and post-production stages all took place in 2 weeks?
I would believe that.
That's horrifying.
It's not true. I just made that up.
Oh. I thought you were gonna say they all took place in the same warehouse.
I will say this feels like a film school film that just has been stretched.
This feels like the 6th best thing you'd see at like a mid-tier film festival.
So I think the best student film that's ever been submitted for a film school class was Schindler's List.
That feels like it's cheating.
Apparently, Steven Spielberg was going back for his film degree while making Schindler's List and submitted it as his
He'd been an established director for 20 years at that point.
Yeah, sorry, I just read about this. He like went back to get a film degree because he wanted to, which, go off, Kang. And he submitted Schindler's List because he was making it while in the class.
No, the actual best film school film is like real film school film is The Steamroller and the Violin, which was Tarkovsky.
Oh, that sounds great.
Sorry, but that's the case. That's the real best one.
Okay, I believe you. Anyway, that's okay. Ban this movie. I love trans art, and I love that a trans actress got to star in this film, but it's not good. Go watch her other work, which is Supergirl. Sure.
Yeah. It's one of these films where I would have been able to excuse it if and only if they said the word transgender.
If this film had the balls to say transgender, I would say like watch it for that alone. We always need more trans art.
Yeah,
but it doesn't, so I can't say that.
Elissa?
I'm also going to say ban this shit. This movie, I think the filmmakers here need to quit fucking around and put the fucking work in and make a goddamn movie and quit fucking masturbating. Like you are sitting down and you're supposed to be making a complete film. Like take that shit seriously, outline your fucking project before you start writing it. Make sure things tie together. Send it around to people, get some feedback, make improvements, try to get better at your craft, and don't just fucking tread water the whole time. Completely unserious movie.
This does feel like they started filming it before they finished the screenplay.
Yeah, I do have some good news on this front, and that is the filmmaker hasn't written anything or made anything since.
Well,
so like we're a little blessed here.
I don't love that because I want more people to be making art that is meaningful to them. I don't want people to stop. I just want them to do better.
Yeah, and there's room to improve from this movie. Like this movie has a lot of problems, but like
it's not heinous.
I could see someone making something a little bit better about a different subject later.
Yeah, like this film isn't heinous. It's not like the filmmaker is evil and should be thrown in jail. He just shouldn't have made this movie.
It's not like this is made by Roman Polanski.
Oh my God.
I think this movie would have been improved if possible that the director had transitioned beforehand.
True. That's
There
every
you
movie.
go.
That's every movie. Let's be honest.
Of course, it is also state policy that only transgender women should be able to make movies. And
Yes.
on that note, this has been Art Should Be Illegal. I hope you had a great one. I remember this movie being better than on second watch, so maybe watch it when you're a little eggy. The next movie. Who's next for picking?
It's me. It's my pick. So last time I chose the short story, Snowball's Chance. This time I am choosing a very talky movie called Exam from 2009.
Oh, can't wait to see that.
Oh, you're in for a treat.
Goodbye now.
Bye.
Goodbye.